So this is Ace, the first wearable device from Sonos. I've been using them for the last couple of weeks now, so today I'm going to talk about their features and performance to find out if these highly anticipated headphones have been worth the wait. Hey pals, welcome back. Obviously we all know Sonos for their high-end speakers and soundbars, so moving into the headphone market definitely feels like a natural progression for the brand. So some quick disclosures. I was invited to a hands-on event before the official announcement where I was given a breakdown of all the new features and got to try the product for a couple of hours in a demo environment. However, this video isn't sponsored, and even though Sonos have provided a review unit, there's actually no agreement in place that says I even have to make this video. That being said, I think this is a really interesting product, and I'm definitely keen to share my thoughts on what Ace does well and where I think it falls short. Let's get into it. So from a design perspective, Ace carries over some of these circular geometry elements that we've seen in a lot of Sonos' other products, which have resulted in quite a soft but elegant design. It also embraces minimalism by opting for a yoke rather than hinged ear cups, and has a telescopic headband similar to the AirPods Max and Sony XM5s. Directionality is also a big part of the design language of these headphones. There's a lot of subtle angles which helps to distinguish which side is correct when putting them on, and the ear cups only rotate in one direction, so that when you pick them up off a flat surface, they're always in the right hand. The problem with that is that they don't turn the right way if you wear them around your neck, which is a bit annoying. Like most products in the Sonos lineup, Ace is only available in a black or white finish. I spent some time using both at the pre-release event that I mentioned earlier, but the white version is definitely my personal preference. It's quite a toned down shade of white, which feels a bit more neutral compared to what you'd find on Sonos' other products, which means it can be quite versatile and pairs well with a wide range of skin tones and clothing. The ear cushions are also removable, using magnets to snap into place, which means they're a lot easier to clean, and obviously replaceable when they start to look a bit tired, which is something I really like. I feel like over-ear headphones have started to become a bit of a fashion statement recently, and to be fair, these are a really nice looking pair of cans. The ear cups have a super low profile, which means they sit quite snug against your head, and the anti-fingerprint coating gives these headphones a sort of matte effect, which looks really modern, especially with the understated Sonos logo. Sonos has gone old school with the controls, choosing to use a set of physical buttons along with this slider, which they're calling the content key. I personally wouldn't have minded touch controls, given that Sonos typically does a really good job of these, but I do agree that they are a bit more tactile and give you more confidence in your inputs. They're nice and responsive, and also dampened well enough to not disrupt your audio. In fact, build quality is top-notch all around, and I really can't fault these. They're partly constructed using recycled materials, but everything feels really well made and there's no creaks or squeaks present at all. Sonos have done a really good job here. So I'm quite a clammy person, and I typically favour in-ears just because otherwise I tend to overheat, but I can honestly say that these are probably the most comfortable headphones I've ever used. The memory foam ear cups are super plush, but also provide a good seal around the ear, and the clamping force from the headband is spot on. They're mostly made up of plastic and vegan leather, so while they might not feel as premium as the metal construction of AirPods Max, they only weigh 312 grams, making them significantly lighter and much less fatiguing to wear for extended listening periods. They do come with a carrying case, which is quite basic, but always appreciated. It's made out of a blend of sustainable materials and recycled plastic bottles, so it's not super rugged, but will definitely still keep your headphones from getting scuffed up inside your bag. It also comes with this magnetic egg thing for carrying the included charging and auxiliary cables. These headphones offer many of the premium features that you'd expect to see at this price point, but the main event is something Sonos is calling TV audio swap. As the name suggests, this technology allows you to connect Ace to a Sonos soundbar so you can listen to your TV's audio wirelessly through the headphones. Additionally, Sonos has also built their own spatial audio and head tracking technologies to create a personal listening experience that simulates a 3D sound system, so that you can still enjoy a powerful and immersive audio experience without disturbing others. I live in a small apartment block, and I often stay up quite late watching movies or playing video games, so this actually sounds like something I use a lot so I don't annoy my neighbours. But there are plenty of other use cases I can think of, like if you've got young kids and you don't want them to hear something that isn't age appropriate, or if your partner is vacuuming in the other room and you don't want to have to compete with the noise. At launch, TV audio swap is only available with ARC, however it should eventually get rolled out to other Sonos soundbars, which is good news for Beam and Ray users. This obviously sounds quite similar to what the Apple TV can do with AirPods, but Sonos have taken it a step further by using virtualization technology for all audio that passes through the HDMI input. This means you get 7.1.4 channel support for everything, regardless of the source or format, and you get to enjoy a seamless handover to Ace from your Sonos home theatre setup at the press of a button. It's very cool. I also wanted to quickly mention that Ace is a surprisingly wicked option for gaming. The wide soundstage coupled with spatial audio features gives you a lot more information about your virtual environment, which is obviously super immersive, but also really helps you to pinpoint exactly where specific noises are coming from, which is a big advantage in certain games. However, it's worth mentioning that only one pair of Sonos Ace can be used with TV audio swap, and you don't get any additional functionality like being able to control playback or ear detection integration, and this feature is strictly limited to receiving audio only. The head tracking features are powered by an inertia sensor in the headphones that measures head position and movement and keeps the center channel locked to the center of the soundbar. I used it extensively in my testing, and while it works well, I never really felt that it was adding much to my experience and just found it a bit distracting. So this feature isn't available yet, but there's also something called True Cinema on the way, which maps out your space by emitting noise from the soundbar, similar to that weird calibration process you have to do for TruePlay, which is then captured by Ace to render a more personalized sound environment. I'm guessing that this will more accurately represent the acoustics of your listening space so that the handoff from your soundbar is a bit more realistic. Obviously, I haven't been able to test this yet, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I have been able to use the active noise cancelling modes, however, which are excellent. There's an array of 8 microphones which monitor ambient sound levels, which Ace then processes to reduce background noise, providing a more immersive and distraction-free experience. I've been using these on my daily walks, and I've been really impressed by how well the ANC manages to neutralize road noise and wind, which are typically where less responsive headphones struggle. The Aware mode is also great, but not quite on par with Apple's transparency mode, which is basically just magic. By the way, this is just a quick test of the inbuilt microphones in case you were curious about how they sound for taking calls. This isn't something I use a lot, but I know it's important to some people, so hopefully it's helpful. Battery life is also really good. You'll get up to 30 hours of use from these even when using the ANC modes. When they do eventually run out, you can get 3 hours of playback in just 3 minutes, thanks to the fast charging capabilities, which is pretty handy. Of course, I haven't actually mentioned audio quality yet, but it probably comes as no surprise to hear they sound excellent. Sonos doesn't publish frequency response in their marketing materials, so it's difficult to compare these purely on specs to some of the other options available at this price point. To be honest though, pretty much everything in the luxury listening bracket sound really good, so my advice would be to just try as many as you can for yourself and see which one suits your individual listening preference. I did make some minor EQ adjustments as the highs were a bit too bright to my ears, and I wanted more presence on the low end when listening to my hip hop playlists. It was by no means a bad experience though, and the 40mm custom drivers contribute to a solidly pleasing listening experience. Ace does support lossless audio over its USB-C port or with a Bluetooth connection, but this is limited to Android only via Snapdragon Sound's aptX codec, and it's not clear at this point whether this will be expanded to other codecs in future. While we're on the subject of connectivity, there is a Wi-Fi chip built into Ace, but it's only used for the TV audio swap features, and I can't help but feel that the lack of wireless support is a big miss. These could have been one of the only wireless headphones capable of streaming lossless audio and not have to suffer the limitations of Bluetooth. Not to mention, Sonos' ecosystem is one of their flagship selling points, and there's so much potential for other useful integrations past TV audio swap, like having the ability to hand off your music to other speakers when you get home, or wirelessly listen to vinyls by connecting Ace to a Wi-Fi enabled turntable. So if I had to summarize Sonos Ace, I would describe them as fundamentally a very capable pair of wireless headphones, but a missed opportunity to bring something new to a fairly saturated market that could have really challenged some of the big names in the space. Now look, at the end of the day, Sonos can make whatever product they want, but I do think context is important, and given the brand's focus on ecosystem across all of their other products, it just seems weird to me that they wouldn't include Wi-Fi connectivity alongside Bluetooth, especially when you consider that some of their other products like the Roam and Move already have this functionality built in, so it's not like the technology doesn't exist yet. Either way, these are still an excellent pair of headphones with some interesting features that provide a really enjoyable listening experience overall. Whether they're worth the price tag really comes down to your individual requirements and listening preferences, but I know that I'll definitely be using these a lot in the coming months, albeit with one big complaint. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, otherwise I'll see you in the next one.